Stick with me as we discuss how Iceland got rid of Down syndrome and if it's a good thing. If you're new to my channel, I run a variety channel where all my stories have a positive message. And I want you to feel better after watching my stories than when you came in. So maybe a couple chuckles in there. But this is a little different because although this will be a positive story, it is a pretty serious story and I think it needs to be discussed. I want to talk to you about how Iceland has pretty much eliminated Down syndrome. What happened is in Iceland, they started testing mothers for genetic testing more and more. And now it's estimated over 80% of the mothers get these tests that will tell them if their child has Down syndrome or not. Now, the problem with this is almost 100% of the women choose to abort the babies with Down syndrome. Now, that's harsh. But I also understand that having a special needs child can be just so life-changing, and some people just cannot handle it, and I get a mother's right to choose. I get all that. The flip side to this is some of the children who have Down syndrome are the most spiritual and most positive energy radiating, unconditional love children I've ever seen. I mean, they really just put it out there unconditionally. And it is an amazing thing that they put out that is like an ideal. I wish I could love someone like that. And I feel that by choosing to eliminate Down syndrome, that we do miss out on those kind of examples of spiritual beings here. I think the problem is that it is so taxing for parents to take on that responsibility. I mean, I doubt any parent says, I wish my child was a special needs child, but once they get in it, yes, their life is hard, but they also get a huge amount out of these children sometimes. It's kind of troubling to me that Iceland has just like wiped it out. It's that almost 100% of the mothers choose to abort if they find out they have Down syndrome, and they're doing more and more Down syndrome testing now. So I don't think we're going to see too much Down syndrome in that country. And other countries are starting to follow as well. And it leads humanity down a very slippery slope. If you can start testing for eugenics, where we could choose some traits that are desirable and other traits that aren't, I believe you change this reality and the lessons you're supposed to learn here. You're supposed to take on some hardships. You know, the struggles are what make you great. And I think it will lead down a very, very slippery slope, as in once a few generations go by and this is normal, then it'll be like, well, what else can we choose about our child? You know, I don't really want any more boys. Let's abort that boy and let's try again for a girl. You know, I don't want my skin, my kid's skin that dark. I had too dark skin. I want more of a lighter skin. Let's try again. You know, I don't want my kids to come out ginger. You know, me and my wife both have black hair. Let's just try again. You know, where it becomes a norm that to start just wiping out lives before they exist based on genetics. And I know it's some sort of dystopian novel. I think even Star Trek had a big storyline about this. Have you ever watched Star Trek Enterprise? They talk about a eugenics war, that people started going down this road, and then what happened is some people took maximum advantage of genetic manipulation, and then there was a holdout of people that said, no, we shouldn't do this, and they have a huge war that almost annihilates humanity. That the genetically enhanced people think everyone else is inferior. And, you know, maybe in some generations down the road, that's going to be a problem. I don't think humanity should go down this road. Just because we can doesn't mean we should. I'm not sure where to come down on that, but I do feel that, we are here in this reality to learn lessons. And sometimes, actually most of the time, the difficult things are the things we're here to learn. It's not, if all we did was come down here and it was just love, angels, and roses, we wouldn't really learn much. We might as well just stayed up there, But because we're down here, I think we really got to focus on overcoming those things and learning to embrace them and learning about yourself. And I do feel that genetic manipulation is it's going down a real dangerous road. So I hope that you guys got something out of this. And normally, like I said, my stories are uplifting and feel better, but this is an important issue that I think, yes, it can be uplifting because you can still focus on not getting on board with that message. I don't think you should pick and choose people over genetics. It leads to racism at its very core. So, we can do better. We have to do better if we're going to evolve and take ourselves to a better place. We got to do better than this. I'd love to know what you think in the comments. Please let me know. I bet this comment thread will be quite lively. Let's figure that out. I'd love to talk about this more. I want to remind you that I am on all your favorite other platforms. You can take a look if you're on any of these platforms, social media platforms. Feel free to find me, subscribe, and hey, maybe even throw me a little cryptocurrency over there. Give me a little love over at Minds and steam it. The other thing I want to talk about is that I am still trying to decrease my dependency on YouTube, and that pretty much has to be done through Patreon. If you guys have the access, I would love it if you would consider Patreoning me. And the Patreon, that little thing right there, if you click that link, that'll take you over there. Patreon is a way to support an artist. I'm a video creator, so I can stop being dependent on the ups and downs of YouTube and even move off YouTube someday, depending on where they're going and what's going on with Google. So if you believe in that message, you can support the Patreon for only $1. Just $1, man. That means so much to me. Just drop $1 over there and become a Patreon, and you'll get special perks. And I have some really big perks in the works, so just hang in there. So if you're still watching this, though, and you are on YouTube, check out my other stories. Click on either of these that are popping up right now, and I would love it if you watch them. So go ahead and click, 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 click. See you then. Be nice to that cat.